Hey guys, today Chester and I are going to show you how to saddle your horse. So if you're about to start horse riding lessons or you're about to get your own horse or your own saddle, I am going to show you how to tack up your horse Western, where to put your saddle, and just some important things to know. So let's get started. Very important, before you put any tack on your horse, you want to brush them. Today I'm going to be using a hard brush to really get all of that dirt and just nastiness off of them before you throw the tack on. This will make it more comfortable, that way the saddle won't rub and they'll just be a lot happier under saddle. So let's groom him. I'm gonna brush here along his back where we are gonna put that saddle pad, making sure that there is no dirt, dust, and most importantly, any sort of burr. If you've ever heard that someone has a burr under their saddle, that's a saying for a reason. So you want to make sure you have cleared this whole area of any debris that could possibly rub or be uncomfortable under the saddle pad. So I'm just really going to work with this hard brush here, and I will go on both sides. My model is really wanting to show off his butt to you, but I am going to make sure I get both sides where the saddle goes. Perfect. But we are not done brushing yet. An area I think is often neglected is under the stomach where these cinches go. You don't want anything rubbing on those. They are on your horses the tightest, and that is just a really sensitive area of skin already, so we want to make sure that's clean too, where the front cinch goes as well as the back. Do you see this nastiness right here? Gross. We do not want that where the cinch goes, so we are going to just quickly and gently get rid of it. We are really going to get this whole area all the way down his stomach where the back cinch is also going to ride, and I'm very gentle. Like I said, their skin down here is pretty sensitive. Like I said before, we're going to make sure we do this on both sides. Done. Now you're going to need yourself a saddle pad. There are so many saddle pads on the market, but today we are going to be going with a Master Saddle saddle pad. So I'm going to get it down. Let's go back to Chester. It has this kind of mesh gel in here that will disperse the pressure from the saddle. Anything that is putting pressure on their back, it will even it out so the horse does not feel it. So that really is nice for their backs, and I love how lightweight and low profile it is. Okay, now I'm going to take the saddle pad, and where it goes down like this, it is shorter in the back and a little bit longer in the front. So the front part is the bigger part. I'm going to put my right hand where the withers go. No, I'm not. I'm gonna put I don't know my right from my left. I'm gonna put my left hand where the withers are. Oh, you're gonna take over? And my right hand in the back. And I am just gonna gently take this saddle pad and lay it over his back. You'll kind of notice the saddle pad slip into place, especially if your horse has high withers like Chester. You want the saddle pad to kind of land sort of in the middle of their shoulder here. It's important to note where their leg kind of ends here. You don't want your saddle pad any further past right here. You want to make sure it is ahead of there, and it's great to aim for kind of in the middle right here. You don't want it kind of way up on their neck or way back. You want it right in the middle. If you want, you can take the saddle pad, put it kind of up on their neck, especially this one because of how light it is, and you can slide it back, and honestly you will be able to feel when it lands in place. Now that we have that in place, it's time for us to go get our beautiful Western saddle. Today we are going to be tacking up with this super pretty Master saddle. As you can see, the seat is actually alligator, which is so unique and so pretty, and the best part, this Master saddle is light. I did forget to mention this before, but we tack up the horse from the left side. So just as I put the saddle pad on from the left side, we are going to throw the saddle on from the left as well. I'm going to hold with my left hand by the saddle horn and my right hand on the skirt in the middle in the back. And this is how I'm going to swing it over onto his back. I'm gonna take the saddle just like that, and I'm gonna kind of get into it here and swing over my left shoulder and very gently place it on top of that saddle pad. You don't want to slam it down on their back. The good thing about this saddle, it is so light, so it's really easy to get up there very gently. Even if you have a heavy saddle though, it is best to still try and get it up there as softly as possible. You don't want to make your horse's back sore over something like that, and it's just nice. Now that I've thrown it up here, I am going to make sure that underneath the saddle pad is center underneath the saddle. So like I mentioned, that saddle has that spine relief, so it has little holes in that nice leather strip right down the middle. Yeah, I promise I'm saying that right. So you want to make sure that that middle part is lined up with the middle of your saddle. So I just kind of pulled it up, very easy, very simple. Just gonna make sure it's nice and straight and that the back part of the saddle pad is also right in line on their spine. Really easy to just get in here and move it around and just make sure it lines up. Your saddle is gonna sit further back than your saddle pad. You wanna make sure that everywhere your saddle is covered by your saddle pad. You don't want any direct skin contact between your saddle and your horse. So now that I see it's all covered, my saddle pad's in the right spot, I would say my saddle is going to be a little bit in line. You do not want the bars of your saddle. That's going to be the big part through here. You can see the front of the bars here, and it just kind of goes through the tree. And the middle of your bars is where your horse's spine is. So you don't want your bar directly on your horse's shoulder because that will really restrict their movement, and we don't want that. Yeah, am I doing it right? You're acting like I'm not. You're looking at me like that. Weirdo, you're weird. I don't have either cinch on this saddle yet because I am going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to go grab the front cinch and the back cinch and we'll kind of piece everything together. Okay, here I have a normal, just a classic equine front cinch. And then I have the back cinch that comes with this gorgeous saddle, and the back cinch also has what I call the cinch hobble, cinch keeper already connected to it. So let's take this party to his right side and get the cinches on. Before you can tack up your horse and tighten your saddle, you have to have your cinches on. So you're gonna go over here to what we call the off billet. You have an off billet on the right side for your back cinch as well as for your front cinch. On this saddle, the back off billet is leather while the front is, I believe, to be nylon. You're gonna take your front cinch. I like to put this side where my latigo goes, which is on the other side of the horse, and then the side without the logo where the off billet is. So your off billet is going to be two pieces like this one right here. You can split it, whatever. This one is already attached to your saddle for you. If it's leather, it is not gonna be. But on the master saddle, your off billet is already nice, connected, and safe for you. So you are going to put both of these pieces through that nice big buckle there, and then use that little metal piece and put it through your desired hole. To know which one that is, you will kind of just have to play around with it. I don't want it going up too high on the other side or too low, and I will show you what I mean by that in a second. So for right now, I'm going to put it in that second hole from the bottom. Moving to your back cinch, the little buckle in the middle of your back cinch, if you have a master back cinch. If not, you will have two little kind of metal pieces typically, so it doesn't really matter which way yours goes. But on the master, I put the buckle in the front facing the front cinch. So the off billet on the back is leather. It is just this one little piece here. You're gonna just take it, run it through that buckle, and put it where you think is right for your horse. We are gonna go, I'm gonna say 4 from the bottom. He might be a little chubby right now, but we're gonna start with 4 from the bottom, and then I'm gonna take that extra and tuck it into that nice big spot that is made for it on the cinch. Okay, I'm gonna take my hand, reach under here and grab this cinch, and I'm gonna loosen it just a little bit. I'd like for it to hit about right here. That's okay. You don't want it any further down, and you don't want it up here either. You want to have a nice distance here. So I just kind of like to line it up right there on him. So what I'm gonna do to fix that, I'm gonna go over and let it out a hole because he's a big boy. Now that I have that loosened to where it fits him, I can reach down and pull it up and see that it hits where I wanted it to. Now this really long piece of either leather or nylon that is on the left side of your saddle, that is called your latigo. So it's very important for this side. I like to take this stirrup and put it around the saddle horn just to get it out of my way. So I have all of this area to work unbothered. So I'm gonna reach down again, pull that cinch up like that, take the latigo and run it right through that buckle. And I want it to be fairly snug without being too snug, and I like to go around at least 2 times. So we're gonna go right back up to the top where that latigo is coming from, run it through, goodness, okay, run it through, back down to that buckle on your cinch, and just kind of gently pull. When you're tacking up, I don't like to really cinch it up on him before I am going to go ride, because typically I'm still going to have to put boots on, his breast collar on, everything, and I don't want it just really cinched up, and because they will blow their stomachs up with air. So if you just cinch it up right now and then go to hop on after you're done tacking the rest of them up, you're probably going to slip off because the cinch is going to be a lot looser than it was at the start. So I just kind of gently do it. I don't want it hanging down. I still want it snug but not tight, and then I'll just kind of run that extra up right there like that, and then I'll get my back cinch. Back cinches serve a purpose. They are not just for decoration. If you're wanting to ride in one just for decoration, because not every horse needs one, I ride all of mine in one. But if your saddle didn't come with one and you don't need one and you just want to ride because it looks cool, leave it off. They serve a purpose. You want them to be snug. You don't want 10 feet hanging down from your horse, because that can cause a lot of accidents. I've seen it. I'm sure some of you guys that are more experienced have seen them too. A horse can get a foot through that giant opening, and if it's hanging down that low, it's not really doing anything. So for me, I want it to be really close to my horse's body. It is not as tight as the front cinch. I will still take what I call the tie down keeper that you're going to see in a second and kind of pull down on it. And if it comes down a little bit and there's still some space there when I pull, then that is where I like it. I don't want it to slide back and become a flake strap or be a hazard for my horse's feet to step in. So it is going to be snug up against their body. I am going to reach under just like I did that front cinch, and I want to make sure this buckle is hitting kind of right in the middle of his stomach. That's how I know it's in the right place. And then, like I said, I want it snug up against him. This leather's new, so it's not as flexible as one that's been broken in. So I'm going to get it pretty snug up in there. That looks good. And then, like I mentioned, I'm going to hop down here, and we actually have to do the cinch keeper, whatever you want to call it. And so you're going to unclip it from that buckle on your back cinch and clip it to the back buckle on your front cinch. Now that you've snapped it onto that buckle, you're going to run it through kind of like a belt into the buckle on your master back cinch. And I like to keep this one pretty tight. My horses don't have just super long backs, so I'm going to keep it as tight as it'll go. This is actually easier to do if you do it before you put it on your horsey. Okay, best friend, be nice to me. There it goes. And there it's shut, so it's nice and secure, and I'm going to run the extra through the back of that buckle just like you would on your belt. And there it is. This is going to keep your back cinch from sliding backwards. You see how it can't go any further if I pull on it? That's what you want. You do not want this to slide up under here and cause you to be a new bronc rider. So this is really, really important. You cannot ride in a back cinch if you do not have this keeper. Some people call it a bra strap, but you cannot ride with the back cinch without that because it might slip back. And that's another reason, if this breaks, you want this to be nice and snug during your ride or your run. Now that both of those cinches are secure, I can pull down this stirrup and you're ready to go ride. If your saddle fits, you're really not gonna need a breast collar because your saddle should not be sliding back. But if you need a breast collar, that's gonna go on these little rings right here. And if you ride in a tie down, you also need a breast collar to keep the extra tie down from getting all tangled up in their legs. But if you don't ride in a breast collar, you are all good to go. All of these saddles do, however, come with a matching breast collar, which is so fun and so cute. This is the super cute breast collar. Yeah, this is how you wear it. That comes with this gorgeous saddle. So like I mentioned, I'm gonna start it from the left side. You can go either side here. You have this piece that goes right in the middle of their chest. That's what you would run your tie down through if you're wearing a tie down, or put a tie down keeper on here, either way. So I'm gonna take this nice little buckle, also kind of like a dog collar or a belt, and run it through this little ring right here. So I'm gonna take it. You don't want a breast collar to just be too tight. You want this part to sit right in the middle of their chest without being super tight, but you don't want it on one side more than the other. You want it right in the middle. So this needs to go up just one more. This really depends on your horse. You will have to play with it and see what works. But that's where I have it for Chester, and it hits right in the middle. So we're gonna go do the other side, and it should hit the exact same holes. Now it is gonna go on the same little hook on the other side of your saddle. I am gonna run that piece through just like that, and it's gonna hit about the same holes that was on the other side. That way it is not super tight, just choking him, but it sits really comfortably. And you want to make sure that your breast collar is sitting above your horse's shoulders. You don't want it hanging down, restricting their movement. You want it up. Sometimes you're going to need a wither strap. I don't have one on me to hold these little pieces up. Just Google it. And then your breast collar is nice and secure, and the last thing you have to do is clip this bottom part to your cinch. You just take this little clip here and put it on the front part of your cinch. You want to make sure this does not hang down super low where your horse could step on it. This is good, or I could even do a little bit tighter, but that is looking good. And just like that, Chester is all tacked up and ready to go for a ride. I hope this taught you something and you now know how to tack up your horse by yourself. Chester is just so excited to go for a ride, so I will see you guys later. Before you get on, you are going to tighten your latigo to where your saddle will not slip if you pull on it, and then you're going to pull it tight when you do that little buckle piece, and then you're good to go.